broke again. Talking that shit, then that Glocky gon' hit it up. Headshot, soak his man. My chopper get hot, just like a pan. Got the headlights, just like a ram. I got 10 toes and I counted 10 fingers, so I do not need a helping hand. Monopoly crib, I'm moving again. Got your bitch on me, she grooving again. Won't cut them again, I just give them a reason to hate. So my nigga shooting again. My creep, my roof, drop that shit again. She saw my dick, then she mopped up my friend. No, we do not wanna feel too again. When she let me go, I'm on the loose again. She on the molly, she tryna boot again. She ain't in mine, this girl is a lend. I prayed every time when I thought you sent. I write in my mind, I don't use a pen. She giving me time, my watch calls a lamb. Just give me more time, other watch calls a Benz. Look at the Uzi, he popping again. Them niggas, they switching, they hopping again. Look at them niggas, they opping again. She giving that top and she slopping again. Look at this album, it's flopping again. Not taking a break, I'm not stopping again. Too much guap, bands, bellow, foreign, tan. She ignored that man, fucking with me, handstand. I can't lie, she got that good, but that girl, bad. I stay with her, back, make that girl dance. Let's go, yeah. What is mine, that is yours. You can't hold my lamb. Yes, I own my land. Stacking this paper, you know that I get it up. I can't be broke again. Talking that shit, then that Glocky gon' hit it up. Headshot, soak his man. Spent 100,000 on a brand new point on choker. Automatic girls got a motor. I can feel that shit in my shoulder. Brand new watch cost a quarter, and you know it's flooded in water. You know every day I'm getting older, but I'm young enough for your daughter. And you know my neck is flooded in boulders. Getting money, yeah, that's my quota. Even though Lil Uzi getting older, know I'm young enough for your daughter. Every time I'm in my mind, I focus. She give me hypnosis. Talking about the love can't hold it. Talking about the guap can't fold it. Talking about your mind, you don't own it. Yeah, just take your time and gotta be cool. Yeah, it's on my mind and they just know it. Yeah, fast pace all the time. Yeah, I can't so much. Yeah, bands, bellow, foreign, tan. She ignored that man, fucking with me, handstand. I can't lie, she got that good, but that girl, bad. I stay with her, back, make that girl dance. Let's go, yeah. What is mine, that is yours. You can't hold my lamb. Yes, I own my land. Stacking this paper, you know that I get it up. I can't be broke again. Talking that shit, then that Glocky gon' hit it up. Headshot, soak his man.
Today, we're going to talk about Aaron Judge quitting on his team during the All-Star Game, NFL and college football talk. This is Behind the Lines.
Well, Jovan, the Orioles have now lost 7 games in a row. What a fucking joke. 15-31, more than 15 games under 500. You just got swept by the Nats. I haven't seen the Nats sweep a team, let alone the Orioles, I don't think in my lifetime. I'm all for reading a good book in the off season when your fucking feet are in the sand and you don't have a baseball game to worry about. Mid-season, when you got a 6 ERA, fucking lock in, buddy. Put the books down. Grab a baseball. Hit the fucking treadmill, Trevor.
Which the Cubs are a team where if you give them like a single-pronged approach, simple approach at the plate, they can only key in on one pitch, which with Mick Abel is exactly what you have to do. They have been demolishing those pitchers every single time they see it. They ain't stopping now. I'm buying in. We're seeing a shootout.
320 feet. I could hit a ball that far. I mean, when do we normalize celebrating pop-ups? Aaron Judge, typical me guy move. Hitting a nuke there instead of just putting the ball in play. And look, he didn't make the dimensions of the park, but he decided to play in them, and that shit pisses me off.
I got too much to live, no time to forget. New chrome, yeah, I got this shit on my head. You grown, shit, no, I don't got time for this. Alone, you just want something.
What's going on, chat? Happy BTL Wednesday, episode 729 piece. As always, hold the fry, joined by your two hosts, Krabs and Jovan, presented by SeatGeek. Jovan, before we dive into it, got a quick question for you, a layup. If you're looking to buy tickets this week, or hey, this summer, to go to the ballpark, where are you getting your tickets at?
Of course, I'm going to SeatGeek, Krabs.
Easiest question of all time. Layup, a handout, some might call it. You're going to SeatGeek, you're plugging in code Bookit10, and you're locking in your discounted ticket purchase over there on SeatGeek, the best ticket purchasing app out there by far. Go check it out on the App Store. Go check it out on the Google Play. They got SeatGeek everywhere. All right, go check it out. Go use it yourself. I'm hearing the audio is not great, Zach. Hopefully it improves a little bit, but yep, I am mobile this week. So, but happy to fire it up, and hopefully it's good enough for today and for the rest of the week. Jovan, hope you've had a couple good days off. Thoughts on the MLB All-Star Game last night?
That was pretty cool. That was one of the more interesting ones in the last couple of years, not just because there are more runs and a swing off and all that bullshit, but I don't know. That was the most, like, if you actually like baseball and don't just like looking at the names, there were some great names, great matchups, great players that stepped in the All-Star Game for the first time in a while.
They're missing out on some great players, though. towards the end for the swing off. Kind of weird.
Yeah,
We're going to talk about it. We are going to talk about it. I got the YouTube chat pulled up right now. Let me get the Twitch up and moving as well. Rumor has it we've got a hype train moving and grooving on the Twitch. Wow, we do. We got some subbies coming in, folks. Looks like the chat is pretty excited. We are back and live on BTL today. Jovan, we got a ton of subbies over there on the Twitch. We've got Green Guy coming in, Dog Days. We got Devin72 coming in. Bang, we're back. We got Big Rob getting involved. Rumors. Jonathan Aranda joined Gunner on the Savannah Bananas. Yeah, he might be batting leadoff. The Bananas after that atrocious swing-off performance. We've got a hype train moving and grooving chats. We got Miss Shrimpy coming in as well. Not seeing Judge at the pearly gates. 34 months and counting. That's a lot of months to be subbing up, Miss Shrimpy. Appreciate you. We got Get Busy Dizzy coming in. Good to have the boys back. Sure. A lot of subbies, guys. Drew 0312 coming in hot. How's it going, boys? Glad you guys are back. Needed it. W's. Appreciate you getting involved, Drew. We got Pega coming in resubbing. Let's go, Pega. W's, my man. Appreciate you, D's. Pega, hope you had a couple good days off. Okay? There's a slight echo, and that's what people are talking about. Yeah, I hear it too. I don't know what's up with that. I do wish Judge came back wearing street clothes and hit some bombs. Well, he was already on the way to the airport, so no way he could come back and play when you're already heading out. Loser. We got low-key iCarly coming in resubbing. Let's go, iCarly. Come on.
Sure.
Come on. 38 months? Are you kidding me? That is a lot of months to be subbing up. What's up, Crypto Imp? Good to see you guys lurking. Looks like you guys are pretty darn excited today for BTL to be back. 69, nice. Krabs, it was cool meeting you at the PLL. Yeah. Good meeting you as well. Appreciate you coming up and saying what's up. And anybody else we met at the PLL in Chicago. Appreciate you guys. Wendy's fan in the YouTube. I see you lurking. W's. W's. All right. The subs are splooging, Zach. Yep. Ton of subbies over there on the Twitch. And look, you guys can watch on YouTube. That's great. YouTube's got a lot of good perks. So you can go back and rewind. You can pause. If you missed the show or missed some of the show, you can go back and rewatch on the YouTube. But if you want a more action-packed chat, if you want a more lively environment, come over to the Twitch. Okay, at Bookit Sports. I know it's still the dog days of summer, but we got a lot to talk about today, Jovan. We're talking the Buffalo Bills. We're talking the Miami Dolphins. We're talking our predictions for who's going to be the number 1 and number 2 seeds in the college football playoffs, which I don't think we've released yet. So very excited to talk about that. Good to see the YouTube gang up and moving. What's up, Finns? W's. Schwarber owns Trent. Well,
he does.
We're coming through for the NL. Let's fucking go. Schwarber?
That was electric.
Jovan, if only the American League had somebody who could go out there and hit a couple of home runs like it's his job, right? Why don't we go into it? Are we recapping or are we hopping into the Steam Krabs? Because I can't wait much longer. If we're no recaps. All right. Let's go into the Steam Krabs, dudes, if you don't mind. Run that shit. All right, well, let's take a step back for a second here, folks. Let's go back to the Home Run Derby. Before we talk about the Home Run Derby last night or the swing off, let's talk about the Home Run Derby. I got some questions to ask. Number 1, why is Aaron Judge not doing the Home Run Derby? I have an answer. He's a me guy. Could not give a shit about the league. Could not give a shit about the Home Run Derby. Could not give a shit about anybody else besides himself. Maybe that's the problem. How do you not, as the best, greatest guy, hitter, Captain America, you're him. You're the captain of the USA team. You are the best player in baseball. You are the next Barry Bonds. You're breaking records left and right. Jovan, do you have any other answers as to why that guy would not do the Home Run Derby? Because I'm running out of them. I got no other options.
Yeah. He can find his way out of getting the excuse to not do the actual Derby again, but this one's 3 swings, so I don't know why he wouldn't be there. Why any of the top guys wouldn't do it? They're selected pregame, so obviously they're given the option. It's not like they just randomly selected the 3 guys to go on the Derby at the time they found out the game was going to extra innings. It's a deliberate decision, which I'm sure plays into their travel decisions of when they're going to leave. So,
well, yeah, weird. If you read the article that came out on ESPN earlier today, you will find that, like Jovan was just saying, these were not selected at the last second like they made it seem on the broadcast. Obviously, they made it seem like that on the broadcast, guys. It's live TV. They're making it try to seem suspenseful. They're making it try to seem, cool. And like these managers are just pulling names out of a hat. No, they actually picked the names before the game started, and they actually knew the rules before the game started, unlike they were acting like on the Fox broadcast. Trying to make it seem like it was this cool new thing that nobody knows about, which I didn't really understand when we had the rules up there and the managers knew the rules, Jovan, because they actually selected the guys who were going to be potentially competing in that if the game was tied heading into the 10th inning. They actually had the names picked. Now, a couple guys subbed in, right? Kyle Stowers was originally not on the list, but he subbed in because I forget who it was, but whoever was supposed to be in it. Yeah, Eugenio Suarez got hit by a pitch, and they were like, we're not going to have him go back out there, which, look, I get it. It's the All-Star game. It's not the World Series, right? But you mean to tell me Aaron Boone, the manager of his own team, the manager of Aaron Judge, doesn't pick the greatest home run hitter since Barry Bonds to compete in a potential swing-off before the game's even announced? Why even go? Why take a spot from somebody who cares? I guess that's the main question I have. I don't get it. I don't get it. Jovan, the guy is out there in front of 80,000 people, 70,000 people, including the people out there in the Battery watching. And he doesn't want to put on a show. Maybe the lights are too bright. Maybe he knows he'd go out there and drop a stinker. Or maybe he just doesn't give a hoot, and maybe that's the problem, right? Maybe he's too focused on, going to U.S. Open tennis matches at 1 a.m. like he did last season when the team's in the biggest slump of their year. Maybe he's more concerned about getting his rest and being a me guy than putting on a show for all those kids and the dads who spent hard-earned coins getting them to the ballpark in Atlanta in a sold-out All-Star game. Or maybe he just doesn't give a shit about anybody else besides himself. How, as Aaron Judge, the face of the league, Captain America, hopping on a plane before the game even ends? That doesn't make sense when it rattles around in my brain. To be honest, that pisses me off. Is that a captain? Jovan, is that a leader? Does that show that you care? No, it doesn't. It shows that all you do is care about yourself, and you're heading out after two quail shit at-bats, two terrible at-bats, two atrocious at-bats, and then you're hopping on the plane and you're heading out of here. You couldn't wait another hour? The ultimate me guy move. I don't know if he was scared to go out there and not hit a home run because everybody expects him to do it in a potential swing off. I don't know if it's because they pre-decided that he's just not doing it and he's going home after two terrible at-bats. Maybe that was it. But either way, it's soft, it's bad for the game, and it's a me guy move. I don't know why I expected anything different from Aaron Judge, but that's not what Captain America would do. It's not. Take the name away. Me guy.
Might have to take the name away. I don't understand why players are leaving mid-game. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. To get what?
It's like when people go to a ballpark and they leave in the 6th inning. It's like, why did you even sign up to go in the first place? Just watch the game on TV.
Yeah, like
what are you
doing, dude? Get a
why are
hour
you leaving
jump start.
Early? It's the All-Star game.
Flight home. Him, Ohtani, a couple of the other guys. Like, why, dude? Why?
It's not like they're hopping on. They're not hopping on Delta Airlines, Jovan. Respectfully, they all got private jets sitting there waiting for them.
Yeah, I'm
all
sure.
Fired up and ready to go.
I'm sure Kyle Stowers didn't want to sit there and wait for whoever the starting third baseman was to just watch him take his at-bats. Oh, wait, it's the All-Star game. I'm pretty sure he wanted to fucking be there. Stay for the game. I don't get it.
Why play? Why take a spot from some young guy who's hungry and ready to put on a show? Why even go? Why even go? What type of, leader does that show to be, in front of the other young guys in that clubhouse when Aaron Judge leaves after 2 at-bats? It's weak. It's weak. That's not a Captain America move. That is an Iron Man, me guy move. I'll say it is. I'm going to start calling him Iron Man.
Iron Man, non-me guys.
Iron Man, me guy move.
Non-me guy moves from Sock Station and Jay Wiz, who just dropped sub-banks in the chat. Shout out,
Jay Wiz. What's up, Beast?
Oi, Goats.
Jay Wiz, I think your birthday's tomorrow, my man. If it's today, though, correct me. But happy early birthday, and thank you for the 5 subbies. WJ Wiz. And Sock Station coming in for 15 months. Let's go, Sock Station. Attaboy. Attaboy. Respectfully, why did Aaron Boone have Aranda at cleanup instead of Buxton? Respectfully, why is Aaron Boone managing an All-Star game? Well, I guess we know the answer. It's because of the World Series last year, but the guy can't win anything. He can't win World Series. He can't win All-Star games. Aaron Boone is a terrible manager. And that showed once again last night.
There are two people that need to be shot in GTA after this weekend. Aaron Boone and the kid who robbed the junior home run. Put him in GTA.
I mean,
That might be worse than the Aaron Judge.
That was an unbelievable catch.
That might be the biggest me guy move we've ever seen.
Shout out that kid. Goated.
I mean, you got one job, and it's to not rob home runs, respectfully. If you miss a pop-up, that's fine. Doesn't matter. You're there for fun. The one rule they have in place is to not rob home runs, do not jump over the fence, and you couldn't listen to one rule. That's more of a me guy move than Aaron Judge dipping after 2 at-bats, I'll say. I'm out on that kid. It was also like a grown man. It was like a 35-year-old man out there.
No,
that was not a kid.
It was a kid.
I don't think it was a kid.
It was a kid.
I cannot confirm. Kid's got to be related to Zach Hampel. I mean, yeah, it was a great catch. If you're out playing, in a high school game or playing in college or some sort of actual league, when you're catching pop-ups in a home run derby and you're robbing home runs, what are you doing? What are you doing? Also, another me guy move was the guy who got kicked out of the Diamondback Stadium a week or so ago and then shows up to the nearest park in a jersey that said what? Mr. Home Run Robber on the back?
Yeah.
That might be the most me guy move of them all. I'll say it. That is an incredible me guy move. God, that's just everybody. That's just going, look at me, everybody. Somebody did not get enough attention as a kid. That guy. Straight up.
That's unreal.
Unbelievable. Yeah, and Kyle B, I'm losing, the aura around the home run derby when every time I look out in the outfield, I'm seeing grown men with gloves. People pushing people out of the way to catch these balls with gloves. I'm seeing these giant blue Geico gloves. I know you guys saw those, the Geico gloves that are the size of a human being. What are we doing? Imagine being the person sitting behind you or standing behind you, and the dude in front of you has a 4-foot Geico giant mitt on his hand, and every time a ball is hit to you, he's raising it up in the air. He's trying to catch a home run. Imagine that for a second. Imagine how pissed off you'd be. Bringing a Geico glove that's 3 feet tall and 2 feet wide, that's actually the most me guy move of them all. Of the 4 things we talked about today, that's number one.
Number one.
I am so out on the Geico gloves. I could not be more out. What are we doing? Oh, grown men with gloves at the ballpark. Jesus. And the worst part is I did not see enough people catching them with the Geico gloves. I think I saw one. To go and catch the under 1.5 Geico glove home run catches. Embarrassing. The home run derby has definitely lost steam. The All-Star game festivities kind of have. I mean, yeah, the All-Star game is still sick, but I hate that they keep changing the home run derby every year. Just go back to the 10 outs.
Dude, 10 outs.
It's not right.
So much aura.
All you have to do is go back to the 10 outs. What was his name? The guy who hit a bazillion home runs, Josh Hamilton. Yeah, Josh Hamilton, when he put on a clinic at the old Yankee Stadium, if you guys remember that. Go back to the old 10-out methods. Why do we got to have 40 pitches? You're getting shit pitches, shit swings. I don't get it. Go back to the 10 outs, slow it down. It's like, look at last night, right? The three swings system for each guy, how they take their time, they take some pitches. It's way more suspenseful when they take their time and it's less swings than when you have 40 swings in 3 minutes to just take as many hacks. Yeah, I think it's the dumbest thing.
And not that this is the first time I've watched it on TV since, but since we've been at the last couple derbies, I haven't really been able to notice just how aids it is to follow the broadcast and the camera work when it's timed. So I enjoyed the 10 outs, but I obviously enjoyed us having the time to watch where the home runs land. Imagine the call and imagine the aura behind O'Neal Cruz's 5-13 shot with 10 outs compared to the fact where he's already hit one 20 feet in the air by the time that one landed this weekend.
I tweeted it. The ESPN2 broadcast, the Statcast.
Yeah, that broadcast was better. It's still not the same though.
Yeah, but they had the camera behind the bat.
I know where it was.
See where it went, and they had the exit velo and the launch angle come up. And what made it even better is the Orioles broadcaster was a guy host.
Okay, I knew there was something. I knew there was something coming.
SBR coming in resubbing. Let's go SBR. 40 months. Whoa.
Yeah,
He
Tigers.
says not enough people are talking about the Tigers going 0 for 8 and having a combined 15 ERA.
Yeah, Tigers did have
Just a terrible showing.
generational All-Star game performance.
Terrible showing from the Tigers, man. The Tigers are literally the Lions in MLB. And it's funny because it's the same fucking city. They're the Lions. When the lights are bright, they stink in a regular season game. Oh, they're great. They're great. But come playoff time, I cannot wait to fade SBR's Tigers. I'll go ahead and get out of that one right now. I cannot wait. We got Ron Mux in the Twitch chat here. Chat, Krabs and I are going over the entire Week 7 PLL slate today at 5 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be electric. Yes, Ron. I cannot wait to go over the PLL slate with you tonight. Thank you for the invite. I'm very, very excited. Get those reminders set, chat. If you don't mind, Ron, can you drop the link to these spaces, the Twitter link, in this chat on Twitch so people can set reminders? Go. All right. W's, Ron, you're him. I cannot wait to go over the PLL slate with you, but we got a lot to go over for today, folks, and we only have about an hour left. Again, apologies for the late starts. Had some technical difficulties today, but we will be better. Let's hop in and talk about some football. Enough yapping about Aaron Judge. Elite graphic, by the way, by Daniel here of Aaron Judge getting on the plane. What a loser.
Insane graphic.
I don't know why I expect anything different from Aaron Judge and the Yankees and Aaron Boone, right? It's like at this point, it's, on me. We're thinking I'd expect, winning decisions or smart decisions. This is the Yankees we're talking about here. Top 5 payroll the last 15 years. How many World Series? Zip. Same as me. Not the Nats. They actually have one, which is hilarious. But as Krabs, same amount.
Speaking of
Same
the
amount.
Nats,
Imagine.
quick draft talk before you go to football. Draft
Sure.
thoughts. Surprised
I like the
you're not mad.
No, I like the kid.
I'd be.
I do. Eli Willits. I mean, look, drafting him pretty much says, yeah, we're going to hit the reset button again. We're going to rebuild again. Sure. We're drafting a shortstop who's not going to move from shortstop. His best feature is his defense, right? Kid's getting compared to Trey Turner. If he's anything like Trey Turner, I'm in. Are you kidding me? Was not convinced on Holiday. Was not convinced on Cade Anderson, although it would not have been mad if we took him. But the guy had one good year before that. He wasn't even supposed to be a first-round pick. So do we want to buy high on him? No. We already have enough shitty lefties in the rotation. Are you kidding me? Or mid-lefties in the rotation. Come on. We have enough of those already. Now, I would not have minded to take Seth Hernandez, the right-handed, high schooler who throws 98 already. We're not have minded that. But, look, we're taking Eli Willits, who they had on their big board as the best player in the draft. So they're smarter than me. I'll trust the new GM. He's putting meat on tape here. If it doesn't work out, he's getting canned. So I'm kind of in. Does it suck what the pick means? Yeah, it means that the Nats are probably going to rebuild again for the 4th time in 7 years coming up.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I feel like the core you have of young players now, I know they kind of want to distance themselves from the old regime, but I'd build around that. It feels like they're super set on not only starting over, but that pick saved them a ton of money in the rest of the draft.
Well, they did spend a lot of overslot money in rounds 3 through 6. They used that Eli Willits leftover money, which if those guys end up signing, I will be pretty happy with it. We got some pretty good-looking pitchers who might end up going to college, but if we're able to give them some extra coins, maybe we could convince some of them to sign, and we already have. So I actually like the game plan here from the new assistant GM, who's now the GM. I'm kind of in. But yeah, it sucks overall because it means that, we're going to see some guys traded here in the next 2 weeks for the Nats. Who knows what's going to happen with CJ Abrams? Now I'm starting to think that, God, maybe we trade him in the next 2 weeks, which would suck because he's really good. But like, what are we going to, or maybe we move him to second base and we trade Luis Garcia, my guy, right? Like something's going to happen.
He's knock. He might be out.
He's a great hitter, but I mean, terrible defense. Certainly would have done better than Aranda in the swing off last night. That's for sure.
What do you have though? I don't know if he's going yard.
Luis Garcia?
I don't know if he's going yard, Krabs.
He's going yard at least once. I bet my life on him.
I don't know.
Yep. Garcia. If we trade Garcia, I'm going to be pissed. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to be pissed. He's my guy. Favorite Nat. Makes no sense, but he is. Aranda hit one off the top of the wall. Yep. So close. So close. I blame that on the manager, though, for putting him in
Yeah,
in the first place.
That was set up from Boone.
Yeah, let's not act like Luis Garcia is backing up James Wood right now, hitting 330 since he had a kid for the last month and a half. Check the data.
Yeah, why wasn't James Wood in the swing? Man? Not that the NL didn't have hitters in there, of course, but I would have taken him over Stowers.
He was dressed and ready to go.
Yeah,
for sure. I don't know why Dave Roberts picked Stowers, but I do know that Dave Roberts is a bozo, and his brain doesn't work that well, so that could have had something to do with it, right?
I mean, Stowers did nothing wrong. He hit a tank.
Oh, he should hit too.
Yeah, James could hit too.
That's the problem with these young guys, Goots, these days. They get complacent. They're good with one. Ooh, that's good enough. Nope. Should hit two. That's on him. Luis Garcia would have hit 3.
Okay.
Just really bad.
He would have hit 3.
Move on.
We got a book of Chew Sub-Bang coming in, and how many did the Orioles hit in the swing off? That would be another Shugs bagel for the kids. Book of Chew, you're him. Fellas, nice meeting y'all this weekend. A great time for sure. Chew, thank you so much for making the trip. I know it was not close. You said you had an Uber an hour to meet up with us. W. Chew.
Goat.
Appreciate meeting you, my man. And all the people who came in here and subbed. SBR, Sock Station, Jay Wiz, Loki iCarly, Pega, Drew, Mishrimpy, Get Busy, Dizzy, Big Rob. We got Devin. We got Green Guy, Steve Bernatz. All the goats coming in resubbing. Let's clap it up one more time for all the goats coming in resubbing on a Dog Days of Summer Wednesday. That's heart. That's grit. Love to see. Love to see. All right. Let's move. Let's groove. It's about that time, chat. You guys have been waiting very patiently for some NFL and college football talk, and today you are going to get it. Let's hop in. Let's talk about it. We're going to do Buffalo Bills breakdown first. Buffalo Bills breakdown here first. W graphic on the right sector of the screen as well. Love to see that. Looks like we've got, a win total up there. Odds to make the playoffs, to win the division, to win the Super Bowl. We got it all up there on the right sector. Pretty cool, Jovan. Real quick, I want your thoughts on this Buffalo Bills team as I pull up the depth chart for them. What are your thoughts? They add a couple new pieces for the defense. Do you think it's moving the needle? They also have the easiest schedule in the NFL besides the 49ers for this upcoming season. So are you in on the Bills, or do you think they take a step back in the Big 2-5?
I'm very in on the Bills, but I do think it'll look a little different than it did last year, because last year, everything lined up as far as you got a record season from James Cook. He led the league in touchdowns. He was perfect when they needed him. You got an MVP season from Josh Allen, where he only ended up with 6 picks, I believe, goated square. But we saw him finally decide that he wanted to stop throwing the ball to the other team, and he wasn't going to take so many chances. But a lot of that was because they had so much success on the ground with James Cook as far as the end zone goes, and with his own legs. I think he had 12 rushing touchdowns. So I think this next year for the Bills, it's not going to look much different in the division, because that division is cat shit. Yes, the Jets and Patriots are probably going to be a little better than they were last year. Who knows what the Dolphins are going to be? We'll talk about them in a little bit, but they're not going to lose the division. It's going to be theirs to win by a pretty decent margin, but I think it's going to look a little different than last year.
What we're going to do, chat, today, tomorrow, we're going to go over more teams than we typically will, and then the rest of the Dog Days of Summer, we're going to do one college football team and one NFL team to go over until we get to the season. And today we're doing 2 pieces because we got some more time and less games on the slate to go over, right? We will address the WNBA. We will talk about the Summer League later on today. Okay, we got no rush, really. We will talk about both of those, and we have a sharp report, straight bet, and a square. So stick around if you're looking for plays for today. We got you later on the show. But for now, we're talking Bills, and then we're going to talk the Dolphins here in a second. But let's talk about some of the new additions to this Bills team that could make a difference. Joey Bosa kind of needs to reprove himself. That could be the difference for this Bills defense. If he does what he's supposed to do and what he's capable of and stays healthy, he is going to be an absolute machine on that D-line. Probably better than Von Miller, and he had an impact as well before he got hurt. So I like what I'm seeing out of their defense. They bring back some guys like Tre'Davious White as well, who was on this team a couple years ago. They got a couple other, decent depth pieces on the defense, like Dark Forrest from the Commanders, Dante Jackson, a couple other guys as well. But I mainly want to talk about the offensive pieces that they've added, because nobody's talking about it, but they've got a couple decent receivers coming in overall depth-wise, Jovan, this is the best receiving core by far that Josh Allen has gotten to play with in his tenure up there in Buffalo. Obviously, he's had more talented receivers in general with guys like Stephon Diggs, but they added Josh Palmer, they added Elijah Moore, Laviska Shenault, who's also going to return kicks, I believe, for this team. They drafted Caden Prather. They bring in Christian Wilkerson. You draft Steven Gosnell or add him to the team, and he's probably not going to make the team or play, but that's a Hokie right there. Got to bring him up. But, Jovan, my point is, they got a lot of depth in that receiving room, man. They got a lot of new receivers, not, elite guys, but if you add 5 of them, I mean, one of them will probably end up panning out and working out pretty well, and they got options, I guess, which is a great point. Can certainly expect Keon Coleman to take another step up, and hopefully he doesn't get hurt again. Can we expect the same crazy good season from Khalil Shakir? Probably not. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but I'm pretty impressed by what this team did offensively. Some of the, role players that they added in the receiving room, I think can make a little bit of a difference for the Bills this year. Now, will they need them when they're playing the easiest, strength of schedule in the NFL, or one of the easiest, and they're playing against, crummy teams and they're up in a lot of these games? I don't know, but it certainly will not hurt, and it definitely will not hurt in the postseason. So I'm kind of in. I'm a little bit worried it's too easy to say I want to sit up here and back the Bills to win the Super Bowl or the Bills to win the, be the number 1 seed in their conference. Obviously, anybody can see that. Their division is terrible. Their schedule's easy. And their team is really good. And they have Josh Allen coming off a career year, right? A little too easy for me to back, but I certainly will not be fading Josh Allen and the Bills much this year. Jovan, thoughts on their new pieces, mainly the receiving core?
Yeah, I like the new pieces, specifically because I think a lot of the good things about Josh Allen last year, part of the reason he did so well in keeping the ball out of the other team's hands, because the short game was elite. It's like the run game was fantastic and gave him a base, but Khalil Shakir as like a shorter depth target was absolutely elite, and they had a couple of those in the receiving grid, despite how mid or even less than that, I guess you could say it was last year. But guess who they added? They added Josh Palmer, who is a noted deep threat. It's really all he does. And Elijah Moore, if anybody watched what he did in Cleveland last year, which some of that was with Jameis, some of that was with other quarterbacks, but he was elite as a deeper threat over the middle of the field and even on the sidelines at times. So he's not quite the deep threat of Josh Palmer, but he's not too far behind. So it's part of the reason why I think maybe you're getting, even if it's like for the worse at times, like you're probably going to see a couple more picks from Josh this year, but he is definitely going to have more room to throw the ball deep this year too. So I think it's good for the offense overall, makes them a little less predictable, which I think was their downfall in the moments where it mattered the most come that Chiefs game in the playoffs.
I've got a couple other bets I want to talk about for this Bills team coming up this year. I know we're going to go over our best bet here in a second, but I do have a couple other plays that I want to briefly talk about here that I did write down some honorable mentions for this Buffalo Bills team this season. And a couple of them are, I like them to be the 1 seed at plus 190, but it's a little bit too square for me to lock in on the books. Certainly will not be fading this Bills team a ton, though. Like I talked about, I like Josh Allen less than passing yards. I do. I like all the Josh Allen less thans this year because he's coming off a career year. As a contrarian, I'm legally obligated to fade a guy coming off a season like that. And again, when they're winning every game and they're crushing all these teams at halftime, are you going to see Josh Allen need to be a freak and put up 300 yards in the air, put up 100 yards on the ground? I'm not seeing it. Maybe if the team ends up stinking or not being as good as we're expecting and they end up being in more close games or more high-scoring affairs, sure, but I'm just not seeing it. So I like his less than rushing yards, his less than passing yards. I like James Cook's less than rushing yards because, he's coming off a legacy season as well, and I wouldn't mind fading his touchdowns too. And then Gregory Rousseau, less than 7.75 sacks. I liked as well with him coming off a decent season. I love taking some less than sacks. Yep, I love taking some less than sacks. Those are some honorable mention plays that I like for the Bills in the Big 2-5.
Just snuck Greg Rousseau sacks in there. It is insane.
Yep, less than.
Just insane.
Were there any other plays before we dive into favorite play for the Bills, your best bet for the Bills this season? Are there any honorable mentions you were, contemplating?
No, I'm just sticking with the one that we're talking about.
All right, why don't you get to it? Talk about it.
Sure. Josh Allen, passing touchdowns. The one where he didn't or isn't coming off of a career year is quite certainly the passing touchdowns, where he actually had his lowest number of passing touchdowns since 2019, So again, a lot of that was because every single game, out of all the games they won this year or last year, Krabs, they didn't trail in the fourth quarter once, which is crazy. Talking about that, like all the games that they're playing and winning, they're winning in blowout fashion, which is why, like, if you're Josh Allen and you're working that offense, you don't need Josh Allen to be Superman because James Cook was so fantastic, and you just didn't want him to put the ball in the other team's hand. You didn't want him to take the risks that Josh Allen always takes, which is fine, and that's a big reason why he ended up with only 6 picks on the year. But you got James Cook, who, if you look at to compare, like, the other is a 3-way tie for the most rushing touchdowns in all of football. He has by far the lowest amount of carries. So he was super efficient in doing it with his 16 touchdowns. So I think regression is coming in that area for the Bills' red zone offense. B, I mean, Josh Allen added 12 on the ground himself, his second year in a row with double-digit rushing touchdowns, and a lot of those were tush pushes, so I think they get themselves in that position a little bit less this year, but same thing I was saying, too. The wide receiver room fucking sucked last year. It was god-awful, and Josh Allen both was great in not taking the chances because he knew that guys were not going to make the plays necessary like a Diggs would make in the old regime or whatever, but he also just the offense wasn't worked around the same. Going out and getting Josh Palmer and Elijah Moore might not seem like the biggest moves to a lot of people, but not only is a big ad for like the offense who needs receivers, but I think it's a big, like, significant move for the scheme change too, because he wasn't able to throw the ball downfield realistically most of last year, and it was fine because it worked. But now this year, I think you're going to have to, and I also think he's going to have to get in the end zone a lot more with his arm too. So after his, again, lowest output passing touchdown wise since 2019, I think this is the one area I would expect some increase from him after last year.
Okay. Well, let's just hope he's not throwing the ball to Khalil Shakir because I'm fading him this year. Yep. After a career season, I'll be fading Khalil Shakir, taking his less than 775.5 receiving yards on Prize Picks, my favorite square, and my favorite play for the season this year for the Buffalo Bills. Fading Shakir, coming off a career year, keeping it simple. 2 main reasons why I like this play. Number one, it's what Jovan just talked about, the new additions to the receiving room. A lot more mouths to feed. I think it'll be more of a team effort from the receiving core. Maybe Aaron Judge can take some notes. A team efforts trying to win games and not be a me guy and put up 100 yards per game. So with Shakir heading into, I believe, his 4th season, who, by the way, might be a little fat, happy, and complacent in the Big 2-5, considering he just got his badge, just got paid. I love fading guys coming off a contract. It typically pays out pretty well for me because guys get fat, happy, and complacent. So you got those 2 factors as well. He's coming off of 821 yards last year. You'd assume, oh, the Bills are going to be great. Josh Allen's passing yards is super high this year. They're, getting some serious line respect on being the number 1 overall seeds in their, conference. You'd think that, they'd at least put Khalil Shakir's receiving yards projection for this upcoming season at the same number he had last year, right? Well, the fact that it's, significantly lower tells me all we need to know. It's going to be more of a team effort. Keon Coleman, Elijah Moore, Laviska Shenault. Maybe even Steven Gosnell sneaks in there. Who knows? But we're going to see a little bit of a step back for Khalil Shakir in the Big 2-5.
Yeah, I can see that. I'm down with that.
Sure. All right. That's enough Bills talk, I believe, for one day. Now let's talk about the potentially one of the worst teams in the NFL this year, a team that I'm pretty low on, but I do like their coach. So it's a little bit, I don't know. I'm having mixed feelings about this team. Let's talk about the Dolphins. Okay, Jovan, let's talk about the Dolphins, who under McDaniel have been, pretty good for the last 3 seasons. They actually made the playoffs the first 2 seasons when he was the head coach. Last year, they finished in 2nd in their division. They did not make the playoffs, but they were okay. They dealt with a ton of injuries, and they ended up being okay. McDaniel's a good coach. I like him. Do I like this team, though, for the Dolphins? No, they stink. Tyreek Hill's checked out. He's losing his mind. He's Antonio Brown 2.0. Tua is made of glass. Bless his heart when he goes out there. He's pretty darn good, but the guy's guaranteed to get hurt at some point every season. He doesn't have it in him. It's not even his fault, but his body is just, collapsing and crumbling every time he goes out there and gets hit. So I'm a little bit concerned for this Dolphins team this season, Jovan. As you guys can see on the screen on the right sector, their win total is at 8.5 for this upcoming season, and they are getting some line disrespect for sure for their odds to make the playoffs, to win the division, and to win the Super Bowl, obviously. But Jovan, I'll get it started here first. Thoughts on the Miami Dolphins for this upcoming season?
Yeah, they seem to be the most popular fade, I guess, of the offseason so far that I've seen, which isn't always a bad thing because like the Saints and the Patriots, I say were probably tied for that last year. And even though like the Saints started out hot, still went under, Patriots went under, even though they got the handout backups win against the Bills. But I don't know. It feels to me that all of the Dolphins faders might have missed the boat after last year, which it could go one way or another because, like, obviously a Tua injury blows us all up and they're going to be fucking terrible if that happens, and it probably will happen at some point. So they could skate away looking easy at it, but I don't know. I'm looking at like the situation they're in because it's do or die for both McDaniel and Tua. I think if Tua gets hurt or doesn't play well this season, he's gone. They're going to move on. McDaniel, same deal. One guy I think is pretty important for, I guess, the one guy who doesn't have do or die status that we'll talk about in a little bit, but Tyreek Hill is checked out. The defense is a little depleted after some moves from last year, but it's just looking at the rest of this division. I don't know like how much worse you can realistically expect them to be. I think we got Emmanuel Acho on TV, even though he doesn't have a show anymore, guaranteeing the Dolphins are going to be in the top 5 of the draft, I'm sure. But it's I don't know. It's a weird situation for this team, and I maybe have a little more optimism, I guess, for as long as they're healthy than it seems everybody else does. But God knows how long that's going to last.
Yeah, definitely a popular fade this year, and like the chat is definitely getting involved as well. They all want nothing to do with this team. Starting to think Krabs would take Judge in a fight. Yeah, that'd be some David versus Goliath type fighting there. But yes, I would come out on top there for sure. Here comes the Tua half a rushing touchdown. Lol, Skywalker. We can certainly talk about that, but that is not on our sheet.
Yeah, he's getting a rushing touchdown.
Up here.
He's getting one. It's not up here, but he's getting one. That'll be in a meme slip. I mean, it already is, I guess, but it'll be in more in the next 2 months for sure.
All right. I'm looking at their depth chart because I like to give you guys a little bit of a breakdown here before we just dive in and go over the bets. Let's look at the depth chart here. They add, Nick Westbrook, Akine, which is that, moving the needle? Probably not, but another, receiver. Depth guy. I also like... Ooh, Jovan thinks it might make a difference. Okay.
I think, yeah.
Okay.
There's a couple, I guess, moves that I think make more of a difference than it just seems to.
Also, side note, I like this Taj Washington kid that they have from USC. I think he could be decent. They also have Malik Washington, who I believe went to UVA. And, UVA is always good for, a couple good receivers. I don't know how, but they are. They produce NFL receivers. And he's another one that I want to keep my eyes on. I have him in my dynasty league. I like this kid, Malik Washington, and he had a couple decent games at the end of the season last year, but not a new guy. They add a new starting left guard in James Daniels for this upcoming season. You add Darren Waller, which, look, when you're bringing in guys like Darren Waller, I start to question Mike McDaniel. Is he losing his fucking mind? But we'll see what they can get out of Darren Waller this year. They add Zach Wilson as a backup QB, so God forbid he goes in there, when Tua gets hurt, because it's only a matter of time. I mean, they got Brett Gabbert, Quinn Ewers, and Zach Wilson. So if you're taking, anything to do with this team for their win total or season-long future when it comes to the team winning or losing, you're pretty much betting on Tua's health. And is that something you really want to do this upcoming season? It's not something I want to do. It's not. And I don't think it's a smart future. So the one thing I want to talk about here before we move, I know they got, that weird cornerback trade, and they've got Minka Fitzpatrick back. I like Minka Fitzpatrick. I think he could have a rejuvenation, but they're going to need him to do everything because he's the only guy who's somewhat decent in the entire secondary, and they might have the worst cornerback room in the NFL. I hit up my buddy who is a Dolphins fan, Jovan, and here are some of his thoughts that he wanted me to let you guys know about. He said, as I'm pulling it up, and I can remember the first thing he said, he literally goes, they have the worst quarterback room in NFL history, which,
okay.
I mean, looking at some of these guys, yeah. I mean, Jovan, come on. They got Storm Duck. They got Ethan Bonner, BJ Adams. You got Cam Smith, Jason Marsh. People don't even know who these guys are. Worst quarterback room in the NFL. He said maybe a Minka bounce back this year. I don't know. And then I asked him thoughts on Tua. He said Tua's a nice guy, but he's not the guy, which I kind of agree with. But I think it really comes down to his health. Can he stay out there for a full season? If he does, this team might overperform and overexceed expectations. But if he gets hurt again like he typically does, they're going to be in rough hands there with the backup QBs I'm looking at, Jovan. I don't have a good feeling about Zach Wilson or Quinn Ewers, respectfully, taking this team to the promised land. But the one thing I want to bring up here before we get into our best bets, is the running back situation going on with this team. I love Devon A-Chain, but again, that's a guy who has glass bones. That's a guy who, if this team tries to make a bell cow, a workhorse back, Jovan, he's probably going to get hurt. But if you use him in, a limited sample, you use him a little bit, split up with, Jalen Wright, who I actually kind of like, I think there's a chance this guy could be pretty solid this year. But can we trust McDaniel to lean on the backup RBs, or is he going to put too many miles on his star running back like he did last year, and it cost him because he ended up missing some games?
Funny you say that, Krabs, because you know what everything signals to me for the Dolphins? Because it's like I said, back against the wall year for both McDaniel and Tua. They get rid of Jonnu Smith, which I love Jonnu Smith, and I loved how he was used in that offense. But now you come back, you still have Tyreek for however long, you still have Waddle for however long. You have this cast of wide receivers that I think is actually really talented and people sleep on. You know what I think the construction of this offense tells me this year, Krabs? It tells me that Mike McDaniel is going to stop getting fucking cute. He's going to stop throwing 50,000 tight end screens. He's going to stop making the running back the focus of the offense, and he's going to go back to what he was when the offense was first super elite in his first year at the Dolphins, and it was feeding the shit out of their wide receivers, which is why I'm very scared to fade the Dolphins, outside of the fact that if anybody's fading the Dolphins, it's like you said, it's a Tua health bet, but I think there is some significant upside for however long Tua ends up playing with this offense this year.
Okay. To kind of lean into what you said there a little bit with the RBs and A-Chain, and you're talking about how they might go back to the old reliable offense that was, in his first year coaching McDaniel, where he took the team to the playoffs out of nowhere and everybody was impressed. I like A-Chain's less than rush yards this year. I like his less than 899.5 rush yards. And again, not my best bet. This is my only honorable mention, though, for the Dolphins, so it'll be a little bit quicker. But I like A-Chain less than rushing yards for a couple reasons. He's been hurt a ton in his career so far. And look, this is not me fading his talent. The guy, if he could take a pill that would keep him, healthy as an ox for all 17 games, I wouldn't be going anywhere near this play. I'll tell you that much. But the guy gets banged up so much. And if they overuse him like they have the last 2 seasons, he's just going to end up getting hurt again. So I think McDaniel, number one, like you said, is going to look more, through the air in this game and go back to the old reliable offense and hit up guys like Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Nick Westbrook-Akine, obviously, and they got a couple Washingtons as well who could be pretty decent. You bring in Darren Waller as well, which might help a little bit until he loses his mind or gets hurt as well. And you also have Alexander Madison, who's brought in the running back room. You got Ollie Gordon, who just got drafted, Jovan. They might end up using all 4 running backs at points this season, try to keep A-Chain fresh because they put a lot of miles on him the last couple of years, and at times ended up costing him games. So I think they got to be smart, get out ahead of it a little bit this season. And I'm not trying to get super cute and take Jalen Wright more than rushing yards because I'm worried that this team might just suck. Instead, I'll fade A-Chain and take his less than rushing yards for the upcoming season.
Yeah, I can respect it. I will definitely be drafting a good bit of A-Chain when I can find him. But obviously with him, a lot of that could be receiving and touchdowns. That helps you there too.
Well, you'll be joining all 8 billion people on Twitter. As I was looking through that this morning, and everybody has him as the sleeper RB of the season. So,
of course.
Sure. If he stays healthy, he'll be great.
Yeah.
I think they try to use him a little bit more in a limited sample, keep him healthy and fresh for any sort of potential playoff run or just, for his benefit. You can't use him as a workhorse bell cow back.
Probably can. And I'll tell you, I want to get him on my fantasy team, but there's probably somebody for the first time ever, because I know a lot of other people are always in on this guy, but I'm going to be drafting him if I can find him this year, which after last year, it's probably not going to be too difficult.
Okay. Who are we talking?
But honorable mention before we get to that, Tua rushing touchdown, of course.
Okay.
Of course.
Tua more than half a rushing touchdown for the season. Okay.
Yeah. Why is that up?
Okay.
Hilarious.
Crazy square that I absolutely love, and I think you're onto something over there with that square. Yep.
He's getting one.
All right. Let's get to the best bets for the Dolphins. I want to hear Jovan, what he was just hinting at over there. Tell me about Mr. Jalen Waddle.
I've never been a Jalen Waddle guy for a majority of the time outside of like his rookie season in the league, because he is, I don't know, his last couple of years have been like the Jamison Williams pre-breakout syndrome where everybody's trying to say this is the year, this is the year, this is the year. And obviously, like, the injuries have played into part of that for Tua, so, like, he hasn't really gotten his footing in the offense, and it's always super inconsistent. But he hasn't really been great himself when he's played too, and he just didn't look like a full fit in that offense at times. But this year, like I said, it's back against the wall for McDaniel. It's back against the wall for Tua. Tyreek doesn't want to be there. The one guy in this offense from a receiving standpoint, or from a pass catching standpoint, that is like right now he's the cornerstone of their future because he's the only guy. He's under contract for 4 more years. This is when I think he takes a hold of it and has a 1,000-yard receiving season. And again, like the last couple of years, everybody's trying to nail that down. He's not getting in the end zone. He's been hurt himself. Tua's been hurt, so the offense hasn't been there. I haven't been a part of that crowd until right now. Like, I think this is the absolute year for Jalen Waddle, and I think a Tyreek trade, or if he ends up being off the team, would help tremendously, of course, but I don't think you really even need that. I think, again, this is the year where, regardless of, I mean, it could only hope if they end up being bad with Tua, because then you're in a trailing game script, of course. But I think the core of the offense goes back to what McDaniel did when he first got there. He's going to stop getting cute. He's going to attack more down the field, especially since he knows that with Tua, you might not have that long with him on the field before you get hurt. So for Jalen Waddle, I think this is going to work out tremendously. He's going to have a great year. He's also going to get himself in the end zone a couple more times than he has the last couple of years too. But I think he has a 1,000-yard season in his future.
Wow. A rackaroon. You heard it here first, folks. Yep, Archie Gamble's go ahead and dust off that Alabama Waddle jersey. You might need it.
Dust it off.
You might need it. All right. We got Rand Dope coming in hot, dropping a resub as well. Jovan, love y'all. Peace and love. W Rand Dope. Sure you can.
Dope goats.
Appreciate you, Beast. Looks like we also got Wags Locks up and moving, dropping a resub as well for 7 months. 34 months total they've been subscribed. Wags Locks, you are him. Appreciate you, Beast. Any season-long Patriot squares you guys like? So, yeah, we'll talk about the Patriots here, I believe, this week.
Tomorrow, right?
Yeah, tomorrow we're talking Patriots. So I'll give you guys the brief schedule real quick because you guys earned it. You deserve it. You're my goats. You're in here in the dog days of summer. In the off season, that many call it, or a lot of people taking vacations these days. You guys are locked in with us. You're chilling. So I'll give you the breakdown of what we got for the rest of the week. We're going over the Patriots and the Jets tomorrow. We're going over our 3 and 4 seeds in the college football playoffs tomorrow. And then on Friday, we're going to go over the Bengals and the number 5 seeds in the college football playoffs. So mark your calendars, especially if you're a Patriots, Jets, Bengals fan, or just a college football fan, be there or be square. Okay? Looking forward to that. And I'm looking forward to giving my sell job here on why I am fading Mr. Bradley Chubb. Jovan, it's been a while since we've heard from Bradley Chubb. The guy's Achilles, I believe, or his ACL exploded 2 years ago, unfortunately. And it at the end of a great season, we had 11 sacks in 2023, a breakout year, right? He really was great as a rookie on the Broncos. He had 12 sacks as a rookie. That's actually crazy. But after that, he didn't do shit. He's always been dealing with injuries. People say he's got an attitude problem. I don't know. I'm not on the fucking sidelines. I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about, this guy and his, season-long squares he's got up there. But coming off of that 11-sack season back in 2023, that out all last year, it gives me Chase Young vibes. It scares me a little bit here. Will he be able to come back from another injury, pretty bad injury, and be as explosive on the D-line? I'm just not seeing it, man. I'm just not seeing it, Jovan. And I think that's one of the toughest positions to come back from a bad injury like that. How is he going to be able to plant his legs, get around guys when his Achilles just fucking exploded a year and a half ago? I don't know. And more often than not, unfortunately, these guys lose a step out there on the D-line. And let's also bring up the fact that he's got a pretty solid squad around him with Chop Robinson, Jalen Phillips, who are pretty solid as well. So although Bradley Chubb's coming back, people are getting excited. All 3 of those guys are not going to grub and go over their, more than sack line for the season. And I think I want to fade Bradley Chubb in the big 2-5, coming back from that brutal injury, a year off as well. Might be shaking some rust off early on this season. And I think, if anything, you'll see him or some other guys get double covered at times. I know their D-line's pretty solid, but Jovan, I want to fade Bradley Chubb, who's not played since 2023, coming off that great season. I just think we're going to get more Chase Young out of him than the old vintage Bradley Chubb.
Yeah, I agree. I think the D-line is like sneaky. I don't know if deep is the word, but yeah, it's solid. I mean, they have Chubb and then Jalen Phillips are the 2 guys coming back from injury who are always hurt, but Chop Robinson's good. Sealer's great on the interior. I forget the guy they got in the first round, I think, of the draft this year, or second round of the draft that's also going to be there. But they have pieces on the D line, surprisingly. So like I don't think you are going to rely on Chubb as much as you would have had to in like past years. Kenneth Grant, yes, Glenn Mucker. But yeah, I mean the D line is more than respectable for a team that I think, or not that I think, but I know like really nobody likes this year. The D line I think could be a surprising bright spot. So it doesn't have to all be Bradley Chubb.
Pulled up the YouTube chat for the first time in a couple minutes. Jovan, you seeing this yet?
Not seeing it. Hold on.
Bradley Beal getting traded to the Clippers.
Oh yeah, I mean that's just.
Would they trade him for a second rounder?
They bought his contract out, and then he intends to sign with the Clippers.
It's just a retirement home. Like what?
You know who they do that with? Jovan the Goots? Terrible players.
No.
Terrible players who they are just dying to get off their teams. Not a good locker room guy, not a good person, not rubbing off, the right way on the guys around him. And most importantly, the results are terrible. Terrible. I saw this coming from a mile away. This guy is a cancer to the locker room. He has gotten worse every year, rapidly declines. He doesn't even give a hoot. The guy was being a freak about the COVID shots. He wouldn't get the COVID shot to play with the Wizards. He didn't give a shit. Just do it and go out there and fucking play with the peeps. And since then, the guy seems like he's lost his damn mind. He does not play through injuries. He sits out. He's there to collect a paycheck. The guy stinks. He's a me guy. Him and Aaron Judge would get along. Maybe they can link up next time the Yankees are out there in L.A. playing the Dodgers, who are probably going to sweep them because they absolutely own them. Maybe they can link up out there in L.A., Jovan. Who knows?
Could be huge.
Who knows? Bradley Beal, all-time me guy, on the move to L.A. The Suns would have done anything to get him off the roster. What a joke. What a terrible contract.
The Clippers just need to be. Like, well, that team's getting Social Security checks 1 through 4. What are we doing?
Thank you guys in the YouTube chat for letting me know about Bradley Beal on the move. And hilarious that he has no trade value. The team has to buy out his contract, still pay him probably half his contract just to get him the heck out of there. You know how bad you have to be, Jovan, for them to do that?
That was a shit contract from the Suns. Really bad from the Suns.
Was it not just the Wizards contract that they took?
Was it? I thought they re-signed him to an extension when they traded for him, right?
Somebody in the chat will tell us. Please do. Very curious. But yeah, either way, a couple bad contracts, at least one, maybe two. Like what? Bradley Beal hasn't done anything in 5-6 years. He's been terrible.
Nuck.
Oh, terrible. All right. Let's move. Let's groove. James Woods, selfish me guy. Devils are rock chalk saying in the chat. I'd love to hear why. I'd love to hear why. All right. $96 million buyout. Who gets that money? Brad? Brad gets $96 million to leave the team. Let me compare this to the corporate world. Imagine you are working a job at a corporate company and you are so bad at your job, so bad, Jovan, that the company is giving you millions of dollars to leave. Imagine that for a second. Picture it. We'll be quiet here. Just think about it for a second. Mind-blowing.
It's bad.
Not 1 mil, not 10 mil, not 20 mil, shit, not even 50. $100 million to say, get the heck off my squad. Oh. Worst contract of all time? It's up there.
It's close. It's close.
It's up there. Oh, terrible. All right.
Bradley Beal.
Let's move. Let's groove.
Timothy Mozgov.
Someone's got to give it to Krabs. Lol, it happens to be me. Okay, Devils are rock chalk. Well, I'll tell you right now, James Wood is a team player. He's a team player. All right. Let's move. Let's groove. I want to talk about some college football, folks. You guys want to talk about some college football?
Certainties.
Or should we just end BTL today and move on? Should we just call it? I don't know if they want it.
Could call it.
Do they want it? Do they want the college football talk? I don't know. Do they want it? Billy wants it. Yep. I could tell in the Twitch chat he wants it. Come on now, Brian C. Let's go, Will Corona. Pega wants it. How bad do you guys want it? All right, here's what we're going to do. Like I said before, we are going to talk about 2 college football teams today, but as well as tomorrow. But after that, we're going to do 1 per day. It's because we got more time today and tomorrow with a limited slate. So we're going to talk about what?
Oh, yeah.
I'm just talking about each of us are doing the number 1 seed, the number 2 seed groups. We've got the number 1 seed we're going to go over. We'll do that first, and then we'll go over our 2 seed. We're going to work forwards to backwards, and we're going to end with the 12 seed. Jovan had a good idea, thinking that would be more suspenseful, saving the best for last with the teams we think are kind of on the fence, making it. These teams we're going to go over today and tomorrow, I mean, odds-wise, they're kind of shoo-ins, and they're the favorites to make the college football playoffs. So still kind of cool to see who we have at the number 1 spot and the number 2 spot today. Okay, why don't we go ahead and get into it and talk about it, boys? We'll talk about the number 1 seeds we've got so far. Penn State. Is this me or is this now I'm confused. Is this me or is this Jovan? Okay.
Both.
This is both of us because we both picked Penn State to be the number 1 seed in the Big 2-5 college football playoffs. Jovan, why do you like Penn State so much this year?
Well, first of all, out of the production I guess they have coming back, it seems far and beyond what most of the other playoff teams, especially at the important positions, have up there. I don't think they, percentage-wise, have the most coming back, but I think they have the most important, starting with Drew Aller, obviously. And plus, if you look at all of the 1 seeds in the history of the playoff era, they all happen to be quarterbacks with in-game experience. Most of them have been at their own school, but some of them have come from other places as transfers, but they all have some relative point of experience. So when you look at all of the other quarterbacks for a lot of the top teams, they're most of them new situations outside of a couple that I'm sure we'll talk about between the next couple days. So, I like Penn State. It's also the fact that they really, per usual, have 2 big games on their schedule. Big game James never wins any of them. One of them I feel pretty confident about them winning. So if they can get through that one, which I think they do very early in the Big Ten season, it's a game at Ohio State left for them, and then the possible Big Ten championship. God knows who that'll be against, but I think this is their year, and a lot of people are in on them this year, and I think rightfully so with what they have coming back.
I mean, they have a majority of their defense coming back, Jovan. I know that obviously they lose an elite defensive lineman, but whatever, he's a giant. We're not going to talk about him. Their offense. Anyway.
It's unreal.
Yeah. Their offense, damn near identical as well from last year, which is huge. I care more about that than I care more about, big-time transfers coming in, because I worry about the big-time transfers coming in sometimes. Are they going to mesh with the squad, especially when it's O-linemen? But, Jovan, if you look at the O-line for this year, they have an entire starting O-line, projected starting O-line, of guys that were on the team last season. So nothing really new there. Not a lot of new guys have to mesh on that O-line. All these guys have been there. But, the couple guys that are coming in, they do have a couple new kids coming in from the transfer portal, Jovan. And it's probably the one, group of players that they needed to improve the most, in my opinion. It's the wide receiver room. They improved it greatly. They addressed their biggest concern, in my opinion, and that's the wide receiver room there at Penn State. They brought in one of my favorite wide receivers in college football, Penn. If you guys have not seen this kid play, he was at Syracuse last year. This kid is a freaking beast. He had almost 1,000 yards last year on Syracuse, and I know they had a high-powered offense, and they threw the ball a lot, but you might see that at times for this Penn State team. If they're playing some good opponents and need some yards, you're going to see Penn be the main guy, in my opinion. I think he's going to be the slot guy for them. And I'm really excited to see him in a Penn State uni. I think he could be a machine. They also brought in Devontae Ross and Kyron Hudson as well, 2 seniors coming in with some veteran leadership. I think could be a big-time game changer for this Penn State squad. Jovan, what do you think?
I agree. I think Trevor Pena is one of my favorite wide receivers in college football. He's just obviously in a great situation in Syracuse, but he was so fun to watch, like a great guy over the middle of the field, which not just like if you watch Penn State all year, like they had nothing over the middle of the field. The news name wasn't Tyler Warren, and it showed come playoff time, and especially come the Notre Dame game when Drew Aller was like consistently looking in the middle of the field. There were no routes there ever because it was poor play design, but nobody was getting open in the middle of the field. Trevor Pena will be nude over the middle of the field all season, which is great for Penn State, especially against tough defenses. So I love him. I think Kyron Hudson's not going to get talked about very much either because he was in a tough situation behind a couple guys at USC, but he's super talented. He's a burner. Like I think it lines up perfectly, and it'll be huge for huge for the play calling, I think, too. That can actually be different this year.
Devontae Ross coming in after 1,100 yards at Troy last year. The dude was a fucking beast. 11 touchdowns as well. He's legit. He's legit. They've got 3 great weapons in that receiving core room. I know obviously they lose their big tight ends, but Khalil Dinkins is pretty solid as well. The senior who's been there for a while was a pretty solid backup last year. You're going to need him to step up. But the fact that they added 3 of those, above average to elite receivers, I think makes up for them losing a stud tight end. So very excited for Drew Aller and Nick Singleton, along with Katron Allen, who all return. So they got their 2 stud senior running backs, which, just like in the NFL, we're seeing teams pretty much all stray away from, the one running back system, unless you have a guy like McCaffrey. This team has a 2-headed beast in their backfield in Nick Singleton and Katron Allen. And then they've got Drew Aller as well, who's a stud quarterback, and he's going to show that again this season. And I'm expecting his best season yet after 24 touchdowns last year and 25 the year before. You might see this kid hit the 30 range in the Big 2-5. Who knows? They might need it. I'm expecting them to pass the ball a little bit more as well this year with the additions to the receiver room. I'm excited about this Penn State team. I think they're going to be very good. There's not a lot of coaches who are in more of a need for a college football playoff run as well than James Franklin. Let's just talk about that for a second here. James Franklin needs a college football playoff run and potentially a college football playoff ring and a trophy if he wants to keep his job for the next couple of years. Now, I'm not saying if he doesn't win a natty this year, he's going to get fired, but I do think questions are going to start to get asked about James Franklin and this coaching staff because they just cannot get over the hump. Can they do much better? Probably not. But it's a big make or break year. Kind of like it was for Ryan Day last year with Ohio State, and we saw that mattered a ton. So this team has it all. They've got the new portal additions. They've got the NIL money. They've got the veteran QB. They've got an absolute dynamic duo in the backfield, for the running backs. They've got a really solid defense as well. I don't want to say they have elite coaching, but they have good coaching, and they have a schedule that I think they can pull off, and they can make some moves. So, Jovan, anything else to add about the Penn State squad that we both have as the number 1 seed for the upcoming college football playoffs?
Yeah, you kind of hinted at it. With the Big Ten teams that win the Natty, it always starts with something, Krabs. It tends to do it. And 1 seed, I saw somebody asking about that in chat. We're making a predicted playoff bracket. So this doesn't necessarily mean they win the Natty, the fact that we have them at the 1 seed, but it's what we think it might be come selection time for the playoff.
If I had to pick a team, I'm probably taking them to win the Natty as well.
Yeah, I'm just saying it doesn't necessarily mean that, but Michigan, what happened before they won the Natty, heartbreaking loss against maybe the only Cinderella team to win a game in the 4-team playoff history, really, if we're being serious here, in TCU and Ohio State. You could point to a couple different things, whether it's the Georgia loss the last time we're in the playoff or just the Michigan loss in the regular season. Some loss always starts it for these Big Ten teams, and I have a sneak feeling that Notre Dame loss might have been it.
Okay. Maybe that's what kicks them into gear for a, championship run, or at least locking in that 1 seed at the end of this upcoming season. Chat, me and Jovan both have Penn State as our 1 seed for this upcoming college football playoff. Real quick, Talia in the YouTube chat asking Ohio State versus Texas, what is the nuke? I know we're not talking about week 1 plays yet or week 0 plays yet, but go ahead and give me Texas. Cool. Welcome. I'll leave it at that. Because I have to fade the defending national champion. It just so happens to be Texas, who also, when the lights are bright, they play like shit. They're like the Yankees in college football. But what can you do? You get the most expensive team in college football, one of them, and they're coming off a down year, but they got a Manning QB down year, but a year where they didn't make, the championship. And then Ohio State just won the championship, so you have to fade them in their first game of the season. Hook 'em. Give me Texas.
Yeah.
All right?
I'm feeling that under is going to be making the card by the time we get there.
Sign me up.
I was looking at because I was looking for this at Texas. The problem with Texas is this is the weakest and most they've had to replace on both sides of the line in a long time. So as much as I really don't want to buy into saying game 1 and a new offense, new quarterback, I have a feeling Texas's line is going to have a tough time on both sides of the ball.
They might. I like that under. 2 words. Dog and the under. Dog and the under in the first game. I think it's the first game of the season for these guys.
Yeah.
Right?
For that.
Dog and the under. Okay. Dubs, let me see what's going on over there in the Twitch chat. We got Brian C giving out subbies. Brian C or him. We got Chaco coming in resubbing. Let's go, Chalk. Let's go, Chalk. Haynes King, Jamala Haynes, dynamic duo. Oh, we're going to talk about them, Patrick. We're going to talk about them. Don't you worry. Just not today. Okay, people forget their best players' names are all Haynes. Pretty weird. Seems like a pretty easy ad opportunity for them. But, yeah, I don't have enough time to talk about that. Why don't we move and groove and talk a little bit about our best bets for this upcoming season for this Penn State squad. Jovan, you can go ahead and get it started. What is your best bet? It could be anything. It could be a future. It could be a prize pick square. Shit, it could be a bet in a game for this upcoming season. And it's looking like that's what you got circled right here, Jovan. Let's hear it.
It is. And obviously not going to bet this on July 16th. I'm going to bet whatever the line is because it's probably not going to get any fatter by the time we get to the actual game. But I can assure you Penn State will be winning and covering against Oregon, which I'm glad. Not only is this like a lick back spot after the Big Ten championship that frankly, like they played pretty well. I've never been a Drew Aller guy. And like a lot of last year, I didn't really believe either. The way he played against Oregon, that was the best I've ever seen. And I was the most impressed I've ever been. And their defense let them down because Dylan Gabriel was just great in that game. And their defense couldn't get a stop. But now you get your lick back. I'm glad that they finally nutted up Krabs and they decided, you know what? We're going to not use our whiteout game on fucking Northwestern or Minnesota or one of these games that we feel pretty confident we're going to win and it's just going to look cool when we win. We're going to do it for an important game. And Oregon all of last year, you want to guess how many times they went on the road to a ranked team in the Big Ten, Krabs?
How many? Zip.
6. Which for a lot of these teams that change conferences, especially for one that's very obviously like your West Coast team going on the East Coast on the road in Oregon, the first time that they go in for a big matchup, I want to fade them. The closest they came to it was that Wisconsin game, which I think people remember because that was one of the only times we actually thought Oregon was going to lose that game. It was 16-13. They looked horrible the entire game and frankly shouldn't have lost if it wasn't for a couple of like super baffling Wisconsin just gaps at the end of the game. They were bad and blew every chance of that game. But this is the first true big road test for Oregon in the Big Ten. Plus, like, I know Dante Moore gets a lot of slurp. They think he's just going to be plug and play. The next Dylan Gabriel.
He's just going to magically be good now? Like, what are we talking about?
I think he's going to be better. I'm not fully buying it, especially because, like, he's a guy, too, that this will be his first real test, too, against a much bigger team on the road on the East Coast in a whiteout game. It's an environment he's never seen. Certainly didn't see it at UCLA. Didn't play last year at Oregon because he was sitting learning behind Gabriel. Sure, he'll be better. I'm still not seeing it. At UCLA, the decision-making was super poor, and you got to be, like, quick and on your shit when you're in this Oregon offense. At Penn State, whiteout game on the road. I will pay to find out whatever the line ends up being by the time we get there.
Yeah,
yes, they are coming off a bye as well. So that'll probably be.
I love that.
By the time we get there, that's probably going to be a pretty court play, I would say, depending on how the teams are going into the week. I really don't care.
Okay. We'll probably also be -6.5 by that time.
I don't think it'll get fatter. I really don't.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right. Yeah, I don't know what Oregon's doing or what their plan is there with Moore. All I saw in these articles was that he's hitting the mental reset button, apparently, is what they're all saying about him. I'm like, if you have to even do that in the first place, it's probably not a great sign.
I mean, they're all the reports from Oregon are saying he's like the next Mariota. Like he's the greatest, just looked as good as any quarterback has in that system like ever. And I'm just like,
yep.
I could see like division, I guess. I'm just like, I don't really get it. I don't know how the difference can be that drastic. So, I mean, I'll pay to find out for some of this season.
I like Dan Lanning. I hate their QB. I'm out on the Ducks this season. Curious to see if Jovan has them on his rankings in the upcoming weeks, and no need to answer that. We will give the people a W cliffhanger. They are also like -300 to still make the college football playoffs. So kind of a crazy take by me, but we will talk about them and some other teams coming up here. But first, I have my future to go over before we get to the number 2 seeds. I've got my play here. Penn State to make the Big Ten title game. Obviously, they did not make the Big Ten title game last year. I think this year they do, and honestly, I think this year they win it.
They made it.
They made it, but they lost. Excuse me. They made it, but they lost. This year they get their lick back. They get their revenge, and Penn State They go out there and they're going to win the Big Ten title game, which you can get at barely plus chicken. And everybody's going to be taking, Ohio State to run it back and do their thing and be the best team in this conference. I will be fading that angle, and I will be taking Penn State to go out there and win the Big Ten title game at plus chicken. I just think it's the Nittany Lions year. I'm all in on Penn State, and I thought this was a good watered-down version to back them to not only just be great this season, but you could still get them at plus chicken to make it, not only win, but just make it to the title game. Seems like a pretty good wager to me. Get involved.
Man.
Yep. Not asking for the world here, folks. Just make it to the goddamn championship. Plus 115. Okay.
4.
Let's move on to our 2 seeds. Let's talk about them. Looks like we've got me up first here with Alabama. Roll Tide. Bama's back. Jovan, did you know that last year was the first time that Alabama did not have more than 10 wins in a season since 2007?
Jeez.
Crazy. That's actually nuts. Respect to Nick Saban. Respect to Bama. Respect to those boosters, because we know that that's the real reason why that team was good, paying people under the table. Just facts. It is. Nick Saban, I'll call you on it. You were paying people. You were paying people. I know Shane Gillis, he laid off a little bit when he went on the college football pick'em pregame show. I'm not laying off. Nick Saban, I know you knew. I know you knew what you were doing. You're Nick Saban. You're a smart guy. You don't think you didn't know what the heck was going on paying players? Give me a freaking break. But that's not what I'm up here to talk about. I'm up here to talk about Bama's bounce back season. And it's not like they were terrible last year, but I mean, look, they have an NFL quarterback and they only win 9 games at Bama. That's not great. That's
Really
not great.
calm.
Now, though, I'm not that high on Jalen Milroe, but
Yeah, I was gonna say
He's-
Milroe might be in the NFL, but he
he's
might
in the
be
NFL, so.
he might be a Saskatchewan Rough Rider before you know it. He's fucking terrible.
Well, for the next 4 years, he's in the NFL, and they had an NFL QB, not a lot of NFL QBs, compared to just all the QBs in general that are in college. So my point was, although he's not our favorite QB, we're obviously not Milroe guys, the fact that they had an NFL QB and they won 9 games last year is kind of a joke, especially considering they had the second best or third best wide receiver in college football last year. So I give DeBoer a little bit of a pass here. Obviously, his first season coming over and taking over the squads, but this is a make or break year for him. And I'm liking what I'm seeing out of Bama. And they got a lot of big games on their schedule, Jovan. And we're going to talk about them here in a second when I go over my favorite best bet. But let's take a second to look at their win total. Take a second to look at their conference odds to make the college football playoffs. They're a favorite. And then to win the Natty, they are plus 11 hundo. I thought they were getting some good respect to win their conference after a down year last year, third shortest odds to win their conference this year at plus 490. I thought that was a pretty good sign. I know it's Bama. The name probably still carries weight, but I'm in on Bama this year for a couple reasons. And I want to pull up their depth chart here. Yep. I like Jam Miller. They got a veteran presence in that backfield. I'm not saying the guy's going to be, Adrian Peterson, but a solid, veteran presence in that backfield, which is good because they're going to have a new QB this year. Is it going to be Ty Simpson? Is it going to be Austin Mack? Is it going to be the, freshman who's apparently playing pretty well in camp so far in Keelan Russell? Probably not him, although coach has made it very clear it's a 3-horse race for QB1, and they have not decided yet. Although it's probably going to be Ty Simpson, which is a more safe and reliable pick, in my opinion. They could go Austin Mack, who has some aura. He's got, this presence about him that people are talking about. It kind of, feels right. He's going to be a star at some point. He's going to probably play QB at some point for this team, but is it going to be him off the rip? I don't think so, but I'm cool with either one. If they go with the reliable pick and Ty Simpson, if they go with the more high risk, high reward and Austin Mack, if it doesn't work for a game or two, they got Ty Simpson sitting there waiting, foaming at the mouth to get back in there under center. So obviously they have, my favorite wide receiver in college football, Ryan Williams, who's just a fucking beast as a sophomore. He's going to go off this year. He had like 850 yards last year. This year with a, worse quarterback and a debatably tougher schedule, he's up for 950 receiving yards. So although I'm not going to take that as my best bet, I do like Ryan Williams to maybe get a rack this year for Bama. I think he's an absolute beast. And they've got a ton of other really good pieces in that receiver room that nobody's talking about. Nobody gives a shit, but a couple really good freshmen and sophomore, Jovan. This kid, Lotzer Brooks, I'm going to go ahead and get out ahead of this one because I'm going to call him as the next star receiver for this Bama team. freshman coming in. Look out for Lotzer Brooks. This kid's going to be maybe not as good as Ryan Williams, but he's going to be a star for this Bama team, and he's going to jump up the depth chart as the season goes on. They got Rico Scott, Paul Adams. They got Jalen Mbakwe as some young depth as well. And then they got a couple of veterans in Gurney, Bernards, and Isaiah Horton, who I like as well. I don't love, but like. They got a lot of depth in that receiver room, a lot of young guys, but look, they got Ryan Williams, and that's what matters most. Their defense. Jovan, they got almost the same defense as they had last year for the starters, which I love when almost the whole team comes back. They got a lot of familiar faces, which I like. It's not going to be a lot of guys learning new defense. They got a lot of the a lot of familiarity there with the defense there for Bama. And I like their new pieces. They added some depth in the backup tight end room and some backup O-linemen as well. And I think Cam Dewberry is going to start at guard for that team. And I like him as well, the senior transfer coming in. So I like the pieces they added. It's a make or break year for Kalen DeBoer, in my opinion, because it just wasn't good enough last year. They're paying him too much money to win 9 games. And I think after, losing less than 10 games for the first time since, 2007? That is absurd. Roll Tide bounces back. I think they go off and they have a great season. Give me their over 9.5 wins for this upcoming season. Thought that was some serious respect. After they took a step back last year, their schedule is hard as heck this year, Jovan. We're going to go over it here in a second. But that was some serious respect, and good to see the over was also a little bit juicy on the books, -115 compared to the under at -105. They're getting some respect from Vegas again. And look, maybe I'm walking into a trap. Maybe I'm getting bamboozled betting on, a blue blood team in college football. Maybe I am. But they did not look great last year. For the majority of the season, they have a harder schedule this year, in my opinion. And their win total is actually higher than how many wins they got last year. They start out the season playing Florida State. I think that game could be kind of weird, but they are laying 9.5 points on the road after a shit year. I take Bama to figure out a way to win that game. They might not cover, but they win that game. They play Louisiana Monroe. That's a win. They play Wisconsin, who could be a sneaky, weird matchup, but they are home in that game. I got Bama winning that game as well. Then they go to Georgia. I think they beat Georgia on the road. Is that crazy to say? I think we see Bama go in and beat Georgia in week 4, Jovan. Thoughts on that?
It's hard for me to take Bama after last year. I don't know. That game was absurd.
Okay. I got them at 4 now. And then they play Vanderbilt at home. They're going to beat them by 60. Vanderbilt's going to be the most overrated team in college football this year. Diego Pavia is about to get stuffed in a locker. That guy's going around hopping on more podcasts than he is, footballs he's about to throw this upcoming season, which is yapping. Acting like he's Tom Brady. The guy's 5'9", and he had one good year. Slow your roll, Diego Pavia. You're acting like you're taking this team to a natty, saying that's your goal this season. You're about to learn. And Bama's about to absolutely stuff you in a locker. I've got them at 5-0 through that game. Then they go to Missouri. Sketchy game, but Missouri's going to take a step back this year as well. That's a win. They're 6-0 up to this point. And they welcome in Tennessee. They have a couple tough games coming up here. They got Tennessee. They got South Carolina on the roads. They got LSU at home, and they got Oklahoma at home as well. They're going to lose one of those games. They're going to lose one, maybe even 2. We'll say 1 for now. And then they play Eastern Illinois, which is a layup in November, and then they play Auburn on the road to close out the season. That's probably a win. If they end up losing that game to cost me this future, I will tip cap and charge it to the game. But I don't know how locked in Auburn is for this upcoming season. All I've seen is people bitching about their coach playing golf too much. So
everybody thinks Auburn is going to be the greatest team of all time.
Perfect.
I can't.
I see 1 loss on this schedule in that grouping between games against Tennessee, South Carolina, LSU, and Oklahoma. Shit, maybe even 2. You could say they lose half those games, and Jovan, his future still hits with the over 9.5 wins for Bama. It's Roll Tide for me at the 2 seed.
I could see that. If everything clicks, everything just might click. People forget. The last time, Ty Simpson is not a, game manager necessarily, but he's not the same style quarterback as they've had for the last handful of years. And ever since they've gone back to a game manager, usually works out well, unfortunately, for Bama.
You heard it here first, folks. If everything clicks, it might just click. That might be quote of year from Jovan over there. I think it might click. It might just click. Okay. Let's move. Jovan, I want to hear about your number 2 seed. I think you're changing it up. You're not going Bama. You're going, wow, Dabo. Sure you
Clemson.
can.
Which part of this, like, I'm with everybody and fully believing in Dabo and Klubnik at this point in his career, but it's also a play on like the SEC. I was looking top down that conference, and I think a lot of teams are good enough to the point where I think they're going to beat each other up. Which, for seeding purposes, when I look at Clemson, who does not have the toughest schedule, of course, being in the ACC, they do have a pretty big, I guess, first 4 weeks with 2 games that I think are relatively interesting between LSU and Georgia Tech on the road, which I'm sure you'll talk about when you get to that game. But it's weird because I think they can run through the rest of the ACC. And regardless of what happens, God forbid they're playing that team they play in their first ACC game in a rematch in the championship, they're going to beat the shit out of them. So I love Klubnik. I love this offense. Like Wesco, Antonio Williams, by the time we get to next April, probably going to be at the very least a top 10, top 15 type pick in the NFL draft. TJ Moore, like that wide receiver room is, I think, as good as you can get in the country. But as for all the slurp that I think the Klubnik, I guess, last year with all this experience and like the loaded wide receiver room and the offense is getting, I think the defense is the more important thing for me because that defensive line is damn good and it's only gotten better over the course of like the last couple of years. The problem that I think they had is they were so stuck to this Venables like scheme, which if you don't know about the Brent Venables scheme that they used to have there, and they still had a lot of the assistants there that are running similar things in charge of the defense who got fired, so they're no longer attached to that. But what the Venables defense is like super aggressive, like to the point of where if you have a good defensive line, it's almost like what you do if you don't feel like you have the lines or like the bodies in that front 7, which they very clearly do. So what happens is you have a great defensive line, you have a physical defensive line, you have guys that can plug in both the run and the pass, but you're still like using these exotic blitzes to kind of overcompensate for something you don't need to overcompensate for. So now they started to move away from this towards the end of last season, which I think was a big part of why their defense got better in every single area. Not only, that they're playing well, better as a team, like come the second half of the season, but the defense was stout for a majority of that second half of the season, minus like the couple weird like quarter and a half of the SMU game. But outside of that, they were great. And a lot of that was because they just nutted up and said, you know what, we're going to let our defensive line just rush forward and we're going to sit back in coverage. We're going to run base stuff, which is where this Clemson defense has been so good. So when you have, again, they might have 2 first-rounders on that defensive line, and I think they certainly do. When you let them go to work, that makes life easier for that, defensive backfield, which is already good, I think, as is. I think this defense is going to be the story of this year. As good as Klubnik in that wide receiver room is, which when you look top down to the ACC, I don't know who's going to really challenge that, to be honest with you. Like, I know you like Georgia Tech. We'll talk about that. A lot of people do, and I think they might be the biggest threat to them at this point. Same with, like, Miami, who's right up there. Louisville can be sneaky, especially since, like, Clemson's got to go there on the road at a Friday night game, but they did just beat them last year, so maybe it's not the spot. But I'm looking at this, and frankly, like, even with a loss week 1 against LSU, which Brian Kelly, his track record in those big non-conference games, and I've tried to talk myself into it potentially being the spot. The one team that I guess is getting similar type hype to Clemson and Klubnik coming into the season is LSU and Nussmeier, rightfully so. But Brian Kelly hasn't been able to deliver in those type games, so he totally does it. I'm not really going to believe. And the rest of the schedule, again, like you got to go on the road to Georgia Tech, you got to go on the road to Louisville. Those are 2 games. Maybe they drop 1. Other than that, the ACC schedule is as light as you can get for an ACC schedule. So I think this has to be their year. And again, like it's part of play on how good I think they're going to be, but also how weird I think the SEC is going to be this year. Not that I'm buying into like all the teams are going to be moose, but like when you look at all of the spots for the top teams up there, which again, we'll talk about more in depth, I'm sure, the next couple days, like as good as I think Texas and Arch can be, he's got to go on the road to Ohio State. He's got to go on the road to Florida. He's got to go on the road to Georgia. A lot of these like SEC teams are in very similar spots outside of, Alabama, conveniently for one of those reasons. But I think they're going to beat each other up to the point where maybe they're stuck at like the 3-4 seeds instead of dominating the 1-2 line.
Yep. And don't worry, chat. We will be talking about Texas in the next couple of days. Okay, I'm not that crazy. We will talk about Texas in a little bit. They're getting too much line respect, and they have a Manning under center. That is enough for me not to at least, fade them to not make the college football playoffs. But Yes, you guys are probably a little bit surprised. Both of us do not have Texas as our number 1 or number 2 projected seeds for the upcoming college football playoffs. Kind of a hot take. I like Texas. Do I love Texas? I never can, because they're actually the Yankees of college football. They have all this hype every year. They have an expensive team, and they always find a way to fuck it up. Now, they do have Archie Manning, though, this year. So I'm having trouble fading them. I won't be fading them much. I actually like Texas in week 1, and I'm going to like them this season. We'll talk about them in a couple of days. I just don't love them enough to, do job like everybody's expecting, where they just coast to an SEC title and then win a natty. I cannot get on board that much. But we'll talk about the Longhorns in a little bit. Okay? We will. Just not today. Jovan, I want to hear your best bet for Clemson this upcoming season. Let's hear it, my man.
I'm going to take them to win the ACC. I think it's...
Keep it simple.
Yeah,
Yep.
nearly a shoo-in for them to get there. And for them to get this, I guess, second seed, like, they're going to, in all likelihood, have to win the ACC. But, again, like, regardless of what happens in the LSU game, obviously that's irrelevant to this situation. But I think the one game that I am easily most scared about is their first ACC game, which is at Georgia Tech, which, again, I'm sure you'll talk about soon. And I think that's one of the teams out of the maybe 2 or 3. You can throw, I guess, Miami and, I guess, SMU maybe back in that picture. Like, if it ends up being a rematch with them, sure, because Georgia Tech's not beating them twice. I don't think they'll beat them once, but if they do, it's going to be in the regular season. It's got to be Clemson's ACC to run it back.
Okay. I think they'll be in the playoffs. I don't have them as the 2 seed, obviously, but I like Clemson this year. I'll leave it at that. And I don't hate this pick. I mean, if you just bet based off the odds, this would probably be the play you're taking in the ACC. The fact that they're barely dogs to win a conference. I mean, I'm now seeing them at plus 105, by the way, so WCLB.
Sure.
That's crazy, especially after how mid they've been the last couple of seasons. Okay?
Yeah.
We'll leave it at that. We will leave it at that. Okay. All right, guys. W college football previews. Gootsy, am I missing anything? Did we go over all the stuff you wanted to go over, my man? Let me know. Let's fucking go, Goots. And let's fucking go, chat. We got a couple other subbies coming in. We got Cameron Picks coming in. And yes, I know we are over the BTL allotted time for today, but there's no surge stream because there's no picks. And we started late. So apologies there again, guys. We got to be better with starting on time. I promise we will. But we got time for now. So we got another couple minutes to go over our favorite play and our favorite prize pick squares. But a couple subbies coming in here, a couple goats. We got Woozy Thoughts coming in 11 minutes ago. Ishi coming in resubbing. Sure you can. We got Cameron Picks coming in resubbing. And again, Chaco, you're goated. So make sure you know that, my man. You better be in that Spaces later today. Because me and Ron, people forget, I'm hopping in Ron's PLL Spaces 5 p.m. Eastern to talk about some lacrosse. Do not get too excited. I will be there for an hour. I'm actually very excited. Okay, so let's talk some lacrosse. It's going to be the debut of CJ Kirst for the Water Dogs, the number 1 overall pick. That's kind of exciting. Kid's supposed to be a beast, and they already have a prize pick square up for him for SOGs. You guys know I'm fading that shit. That's probably my POD for Ron Muck Spaces later on today. Go ahead and mark me down for that one, Ron. Okay? W's. All right, Jovan, are you ready and excited to talk about some WNBA and Summer League plays for tonight?
Of course I am, Krabs.
Sure you can. 2 words. Sure you can. James Wood and Judge gonna love to be teammates. Now, James Wood doesn't play with losers who never win World Series. He plays on teams that have won rings in the last 10 years. So he'll be staying in D.C., Jacob, or maybe going to Philly because that's where all the Nats actually go. He's not going to go rock pinstripes because he's not a loser. Okay, perfect. Let's go and segue into our straight bets of the day today. We cut the card down. Look, we're not superheroes. Okay, we're just, we're 2 guys. 1 straight bet and 1 prize pick square. Quality over quantity. Quality over quantity. And look, Archie, a lot of people would have given up and not given out plays today. Not us. We're showing heart. We're showing grit. And we're here to give you guys a couple winners. So, Jovan, I'll get it kicked off. Looks like we got, our plays on one graphic. So I'll go ahead and rapid fire through mine. How about the Jazz flipping from a dog to a favorite? Late night game tonight as well. The 0-3 Jazz in the Summer League have flipped from a dog to a favorite. Well, maybe it has something to do with them playing the Washington Wizards, who, by the way, already had a win in the Summer League. Jovan, they are bad.
Yeah, it also might have to do with who the Wizards are going to be playing today. Because I think,
like the guys who are active and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, because I've been seeing some rumors that I think the big 3 there got shut down.
Yes, they're shut down.
that might be. And I guess Trey Johnson didn't get shut down, but he got like a little banged up, so he might not even play. Who knows at this point?
Yeah.
So playing some
They don't have
nut
bodies.
basketball. They have none.
They're going to have, Zeke Mayo, Kadari Richmond out there. Kadari Richmond, bless his heart, the guy cannot shoot. I'd rather have my jumper. Could not have a worse jumper.
Bad.
Those two gentlemen I just named, who, by the way, were two studs in college basketball last year, or at least 1.5 studs with Richmond and the Kansas kid that I was just talking about, and now I'm forgetting his name. They had 2 points combined last night, Zeke Mayo. 2 points combined last night. What a joke. The Wizards lost by like 30 last night. They put up 58 points. They are that bad. Jovan, they are that bad. I like Filipowski. I like Ace Bailey. I like what Utah's doing. I think they absolutely blow the doors off the Wizards tonight. I really do. They blow the doors off of them, and the Wizards lose their 3rd game of the Summer League. They're 1-2 right now. I'll take the Jazz, flipping from a dog to a fave. Sure, there's some guys out for the Wizards, and look, there'll probably be some guys out for the Jazz too. At this point of the Summer League, they played back-to-back days. But the Jazz get the win. Love the line flip. Late night game tonight. Fading the Wizards. System play. It's not rocket science. You fade the Wizards, you're making coins 8 times out of 10.
Sure. Shout out the Wizards.
Right? Kyle Filipowski looking like Dirk in the Summer League. Yeah.
Dirk.
He's actually so good. I was thinking about fading him today, and I couldn't even sack up and do it. I'm just honestly coming around to him balling again. He's averaging like 30 points a game in the Summer League. And nobody's talking about it. Nobody cares. He's him. Filipowski. What do you think he's going to do against the Wizards defense tonight? Probably do yob. All right. Let's move. Let's groove. Got to dabble in some open plays, Krabs. I think I'm good, real Nicky Gambles, but I appreciate the idea, my man. I do. All right. Jackie Young. I'm going to the WNBA here, Jovan. Pretty red chart. Late night game. She's on the Aces. I like points in that game. I like the Aces in that game. I like that every other girl on that team pretty much has some weird, low squares. You guys lose me there for a second? Back? Okay. We got a subby coming in here as well. Or no, Snowman Sports coming in with a party of 7. And Esto coming in resubbing. Goats. I like the Aces. I like points in this game tonight. Give me Jackie Young, read it out, chart on Prize Picks. More than 1.5 3-pointers made. I cannot wait to sweat this one late night tonight.
Sure.
Cannot wait. Jovan, let's talk about your plays for tonight.
Sure. Go to the pitch. Taking the Portland Timbers on the ML tonight. Playing at home against RSL after just a unbelievably disappointing and embarrassing loss against one of the worst teams in the league in St. Louis. And not only that, but happens to come on the night. Portland's been like really home split dependent. Like they're god awful on the road, which is where they caught that loss. They're coming back home tonight, but not only that, but they are celebrating the 10th year anniversary of their MLS Cup team. So that's going to be splooged all over the field and over the feed today. So if there's any day for them to bounce back when they need it the most, it has to be this game against this putrid defense in RSL. So I'm taking them. It's about plus 125. And they're mucking chow. Then noted Stanford goat, Maxime right now. I think this game starts in like a little bit over an hour. But
no way you put that square on there, bro.
Had to.
That's awesome.
He's hitting
Okay.
two. He's playing the Cavs, which weirdly, out of all the teams in Summer League, I feel like I've watched the Cavs the most because, I don't know, they just played the Heat too. But the thing that I noticed when they were on the floor is it's like Naquan Tomlin and a couple of their other bigs. Like all the bigs for the Heat just had every single open three, and I've seen that a couple different games. Like the games where like Omier cannot cover the 3-point line, Tomlin cannot cover the 3-point line. They've got Enaruma like coming off the bench, he can't cover the 3-point line. So there's been a lot of open threes for big men who could shoot. So I'm gonna bet that it happens again with Reynaud, who I think they just rested in the last game. So he should be full go today. Let's get him splooging.
Sorry, I was just texting Fruity back really quick. Yes, chat, I am seeing Portnoy is doing the Big Noon kickoff. That is pretty cool. That is good for it's a W for content creators. Very cool. Hopefully he does not get exposed with his ball knowledge. He's going to have to lock in a little bit. Although he knows his football pretty decently. So excited to see how that goes. I think that could be pretty cool. And I believe the Maxime Square is off the boards. Do you want to do it?
No.
Check the Carfax for me?
No way
mind
he's
checking?
off board.
You mind checking?
Take a peek. Take a peek.
I was getting really excited to put up a two-piece.
Oh my god, he's so gone.
No way they're that
Unbelievable.
dialed taking squares off. For the
He's
sun.
on the way home. He's probably on the fucking plane with Aaron Judge, leaving the All-Star game early. Goots, get that graphic back up here. I need to see it again, man. Can you get that back up here? I just want to look at it.
The way you're getting that back up and moving.
Any shot, you could just put that up on the screen, even if it's full screen. Fuck it. Yeah, Jackie Young, more than 1.5 3-pointers made. We were about to have a, we're about to have a two-piece 3-pointer prize picks lineup, man. That was about to be epic, but
All right, take
I'm
his
sure we will
points.
find a replacement.
Take his points.
Chat. Okay, we can take his points. I'm in for that, Jovan. Hey, guys, how about this graphic? Not enough love for this graphic. Aaron Judge hitting the airport nice and early. Nice and early, mid-game. Me guy, mid-game, Uber to the airport. How about it? Unbelievable picture, Goots. And Daniel. Great work, gents. Great work. Appreciate you guys. All right, Jovan, can you confirm, are we going to take Raynaud's points?
Yeah. 14.5.
Let me lock it in right now, and I'll drop the link for you goats. Okay? We'll take Maxime Raynaud, one of our favorite players from college basketball last year. Oh, you could also put Command Maluk less than points if you'd like, because he's terrible. You want to go with that, or
Your guy.
you want to stick? You want to stick with your guy?
Yeah, we'll stick with them.
As soon as I find him, is he a late night geyserman?
No.
Nope. All right. There he is. Full two-piece to take the edge off. It's actually an afternoon game. It starts up in an hour and 10 minutes. So if you guys want to tail this two-piece, I want to do it now before you forget. These games start up here soon. Okay? Soon as this website works and locks in the lineup for me, I will drop the link for you guys in the chat. Okay? WBTL today, W football talk, WNBA, and Summer League talk. Jovan, any other nuggets, thoughts about the NBA or the W tonight? I think Caitlin Clark's team plays, but she's out. She's hurt again, so.
Sure. Yeah, I have no other nuggets, Krabs.
All right. Here's the link to the two-man on Prize Picks if you guys want to get involved. Jackie Young, more than 1.5 3-pointers made, and Maxime Raynaud, more than 14.5 points this afternoon. W's. All right. I'm dropping the link if you guys want to get involved. It's in the Twitch chat. I cannot drop it in the YouTube. I don't know why it doesn't let me, but I can't. So I will drop it in the Twitch so you guys can get involved. Krabs, can you guys post the NFL and college football graphics so I can repost on the Discord? Thanks. I believe that is in the cards. But I will talk to Goots about it after the show today. Sure. Yes, Easy Puck. Do not forget about Ron Muck's Twitter Spaces later today. Sure. I will be there. 5 p.m. Eastern. Okay? W. Ron showing some heart on a Wednesday afternoon in the dog days of summer. Love to see it. Love to see it. All right. Brian C. W's. Appreciate you getting involved today. Jovan, are we doing a squad ride with these two plays or what, my man? What do you want to do?
We really want to do a squad ride with 2 plays?
Might have to.
I'd say no with these plays, but
Maybe not force cake.
I'll be honest, the Wizards aren't winning this game tonight. So we just make them the squad ride? Fade them?
Wow, I
Putting
feel
Jazz
that
in?
confident. Oh,
Feeling very confident. Yes.
maybe that
I think
just
they get
gets
their
a Krabs.
first win.
Maybe that just gets a Krabs meat auto bid.
Have we ever done an auto bid squad ride? I don't think so.
I don't think so, but this might call for it.
Let me check the data. I want to see what's going on with this line because it was moving and grooving earlier. Maybe we let that decide. Okay, we're going to need to take him on the ML. Jazz ML. Oh, and it immediately moves back to -1 and -118 right in front of my face.
No, we're still favorites.
Might be a horrendous sign, though. Cannot make it up. Weekend breakdowns. Trent going to be lit. Yeah, we got to see if Trent wants to get involved with those weekend football breakdowns. that we do on Thursdays and Fridays on BTL during the football season. Okay, I'm getting cold feet with the Jazz. I think we just do no squad right today.
They were getting cold feet
Cold
after
feet.
that. Unbelievable.
Cold feet. Cold feet.
I was getting bought in.
Feet are freezing. Cold feet. We're going to do no squad ride today. Maybe tomorrow we'll pick it up. Guys, I want to give you winners. Okay? Not just fucking cake. British Cow says it's the Wizards, bro. Well, things I do to see that train. Took it with Brent. You can still tail these plays responsibly if you'd like. You could still tail these plays responsibly. I'm still taking the play. For the love of God, I'm taking the play. I'm taking it. But is it squad ride worthy? No. It's not. It's an NBA Summer League game. Think about that for a second. Think about it. Squad ride, one of the most important parts of our entire lives. Most important part of the show. We're just going to put in a Summer League play in there when I'm getting cold feet? No. Putting the foot down. You guys can still take the play. You can take it with Jovan's soccer play, a little two-piece. But is it squad ride worthy? No. It's not. Okay? Quality over quantity. We're going to pick our spots a little bit better in the Big 2-5. And today's not a day for it. Okay? It's not. Trusting my gut, put my foot down. Some might say it's a me guy move, Jacob. Yep.
We might.
Kind of is.
We might just have to see the train one time, though.
I don't think we're seeing it.
We might
W
just have
restraint.
to see it.
Yes, I agree. W
Might just
restraint.
have to see it.
Snowman said, do not need to force it. W restraint. I agree. All right, kids, go ahead and run that shit. I want to see that damn train. Okay. Yes.
Much.
Oh, I was fucking with you guys.
Okay.
And I wanted to run it there and look cool, but now it's ruined.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you were fucking with
It's okay. That's okay, Goots.
Didn't
That's
know.
okay. Goots, will you do me a quick favor before we end the stream? Do you mind running that train for me? I want to see it.
Just run it. Just run it.
W Conductor Goots. Appreciate you, Beast. And yeah, feel free to leave up the Aaron Judge meme graphic. Yes, I do not mind. One bit. All right, Chad, I will say that was kind of confusing, but I did want to fuck with you a little bit. We got D. Decker coming in, Steelers Super Bowl for 26 months. Wow.
Draft burner.
That might just be Rav's secondary account. Okay? To be honest, you guys peer pressured me into wanting to do it. So we're going to do the squad ride today. We're going to do it every day we have BTL because we're not soft. Let's put it in a couple plays to start it off, but we're not done because I'm going to take a peep down the NBA Summer League lineup, take a peep in the WNBA, make sure we're not missing any plays.
No way we just hopped into whole board after that.
Well, you want a squad ride play. I'm going to show some effort. I'm going to make sure we have all the right options.
I
We're
think
not
you
doing
just
a
put
handout.
foot down, Krabs. Put foot down for the Jazz.
A better chance of being abducted by aliens than the Steelers Super Bowl. Okay.
Okay. I mean, yeah, probably.
That's fact.
Let's pull up the schedule. That is facts, Gates. Yep.
Now we're talking about the Steelers. This is a waste of time. They're the worst team in the world. Just talk about the Jazz.
Nuck.
Put the Jazz ML in there. Put Jovan's soccer play in there. Trying to find some fucking odds for these games.
You know what I'm shocked you didn't put in there, Krabs?
What?
There's like it looks like a polar bear. The polar bear in Arlington, Texas meme of totals on the board today. I see 1,000,000 and like a 179, and that's just Mavs Sixers 169.
Put the Mavs Sixers under 169 in there. I was looking at that earlier. Weirdly low total. Jovan, you know me so well, bro. You know me so well. Let's put that under in there. Under 169 in the Mavs and the 76ers. Let's take a peep to the W one last time. Hope you guys locked in your Lynx bets earlier today because they are up a lot. Now, Jovan.
Okay.
I am seeing the fever now catching steam. down to plus 9.5 against a team they had good success against in the Liberty. Who wants to back the Fever in their first game now without Caitlin Clark after she just had a groin injury the other day, and this is their first game without her? Nobody. What do you think about the Fever? Find the bad news.
Do we have to, dude?
Find the bad news. It's either that or the Aces Wings under.
Aces Wings under. Aces Wings under is filthy.
Yeah.
That one. You might have me on the Fever before you have me on the under.
Okay. Let's just keep those out and go 3 plays. Is that cool?
That could be cool.
Okay. 3 plays, 3 winners for the squad ride today. Jazz on the money line, late night fading the Wizards. We've got the Timbers on the money line. What is that, MLS?
Yeah.
Jesus. We got the under 169 in Dallas and Philly. 3 plays, 3 winners. Honestly, I think these are going 2-1 at worst. I'm in. Yeah, click the right button, please. Click the right button, please. And I expect my flowers signed, sealed, and delivered nice and early in the chat for BTL tomorrow when this card of 3 plays goes 2-1 or better.
Would be good.
Okay? 3 plays, 3 winners, Jazz, Timbers, and then the under in Dallas and Philly. Okay? Get involved, get those votes in. If you're watching on the YouTube and you're wondering, why is there no poll? It's because the poll is up in the Twitch chat. Get involved. And tell me why we have 20 votes. 20 votes. What are we doing? Vote. Vote, vote, vote. Krabs, can you give us a quick analysis of the season entry from our guys on Discord? The College Super Goats. Pega, it looks like we're running out of time today, but I will check that out in the Discord this afternoon. Get those votes in chat, and maybe instead of saving your vote for the last second to try to be cool and change the squad ride at the last second, just vote for the play you like the best. How about that? 3 plays, 3 winners. Jazz ML, Timbers ML, and the under in Dallas and Philly.
One of the squad ride polls of all time. Just.
Get involved. We fading the Wizards? Are we taking the Timbers? Are we fading the Dallas and Philly WNBA teams? I'm taking the under. No way, we're still trying to do the try to tie the vote bit. I just don't get it, T-Bone Stick.
That bit will never end.
It's not a good bit. It's not a funny bit. It's just, it makes no sense. Timbers.
Have we ever had a soccer squad ride? I don't know if we have.
I feel like we have. I feel like we've had like a European one, like a total.
We couldn't have had that because all the European games start in the afternoon.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I remember. I'm gonna have to go back and look, but it doesn't matter. Who gives a hoot? All that matters is tonight we're taking the Timber on the money line. I'm gonna go look that up real quick and see what the odds are at for them.
It's plus 125. I got it.
Wow. Late night? Oh, good.
Yeah.
They're plus 130. Go ahead and chalk it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Krabs.
All right. W Squad
favorite.
Ride, Timbers. Timbers on the money line. W play on the pitch tonight, 10:30 p.m. Eastern tonight. We're going to be sweating out the Timbers. I cannot wait. We've got the PLL Spaces at 5 p.m. I'm hopping on Ron Spaces on Twitter. Make sure you guys go check that puppy out. WBTL today, W Football Talk, W Squad Rides. Yeah, I did have a question of the day today. I wanted to start doing that segment, but maybe I'll save that for tomorrow since we're already a half hour over. Okay. Yeah, W Stream today. I appreciate you guys. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same